Thank you very much. Thank you. In case I'm ever not sure if I'm in a labor meeting, it's when I get my bear hug from Rocco that I know where I am. It helps ground me where I am. Never a better friend in organized labor, and I would like to, if I can, on behalf of the City of Chicago, tireless advocate, Rocco, thank you for having the conference here. Thank you for being a partner. Thank you for Local 73. I do want to say I had a whole speech about what we're doing to build the City of Chicago, working in partnership between business and labor in our area of construction. But President Sellers, I want to pick up on where you left off as it relates to getting ready for the election. Because we can do everything we want in the City of Chicago. And we have had incredible investments in our infrastructure, at our airport, our public transportation, our roads, our bike lanes, what we're doing at our schools, $2.5 billion capital project, what we're doing at our community colleges, where half the campuses of all 7 will be totally rebuilt. But if we do not have a partner in the White House, we're not an island in the country. And I say that because, you know, I'm working, or work is a very loose term. We have a governor, since day one, has talked about ending prevailing wage. He's talked about making Illinois a right-to-work state. And I'm going to tell you right now, Chicago will never be a right-to-work state. Chicago, Illinois, its competition is not Mississippi, is not Kentucky, is not Alabama. Every economic study shows we're the second most competitive economy in North America and in the top 10 worldwide. We compete against London, Berlin, Tokyo, Beijing. Our competition is not to figure out how to lower wages. Our competition is how to raise the bar, as you just noted, here is your theme for the convention, and raise the bar to make sure everybody has a chance to compete and win. Which is why, and so you know, last 3 years, #1 city for corporate relocations of worldwide headquarters, City of Chicago. Last 4 years, #1 city for foreign direct investment, City of Chicago. Last year, #1 city for industrial properties and development, City of Chicago. And we did not do it by calling war on organized labor. We don't, Rocco will tell you, we don't agree on everything. It's like a good marriage. We don't agree on everything. That was a joke. You guys got to lighten up, man. This is a tough, this is a tough crowd, President Sellers. I got some good lines. I'm not going to waste them on you guys. But Rocco has always been, and the building trades have always been, a partner of mine in trying to figure out how to make sure the City of Chicago competes and wins in the 21st century. We did not just get those data points. We've cut our unemployment by over 40% in just the last 5 years. We did it and also reduced our structural deficit by 80%. And last week, I announced a new plan to make sure all 4 pensions, we've already done police, fire, laborers, and now the municipal fund, which street metal workers, will all be fully paid for in a way that doesn't destroy the economy but keeps our commitment. Later this week also, we'll be breaking ground on the final runway at O'Hare. That runway will make Chicago's airport the most efficient airport for aviation system in the United States. And why I'm so proud of it is not only another runway, not only another capacity, but it is literally, when we're done, is lifting Midway Airport and putting that capacity at O'Hare. So we're the only city in the United States in the last decade that has added a 3rd airport to its metropolitan area, allowing it to compete and win, putting people to work by investing in the future. Everything we have done to pare the fiscal mess that was inherited from the past, we did not do it by not investing in the future. In fact, we doubled down on that future. A new runway at O'Hare, 2 new hotels at O'Hare, a multi-billion-dollar project of redoing the entire terminals over the next 10 years, adding more gates and more capacity at O'Hare. A $1.3 billion modernization of Midway, a $2.5 billion capital plan for our public schools and new additions and new campuses, 2,500 miles out of the 4,500 totally repaved in the last 8 years. All 325 playgrounds in the city of Chicago rebuilt, finished this November. 3 of the 7 community college campuses totally modernized for the 21st century. At every level, we have made investments in our public infrastructure, making sure that while we repair the past and make sure we have our pensions and our fiscal house in order, we doubled down, and it did not come at the expense of investing in that future. From our aviation system, to our roads, to our public transportation system, to our parks, our playgrounds, our schools, and our community colleges. All 18,000 workers over the last decade, 900 miles of water pipe totally rebuilt, 670 miles of sewer totally relined, 167,000 catch basins totally rebuilt, 2 of the largest water filtration plants in the United States and in the world totally rebuilt top to bottom. 18,000 people going to work rebuilding the water system in the city of Chicago, largest water system rebuild in the United States. And every item I just talked to you about, paid for. It's not an idea, it's not a concept, paid for. I have been upfront with the voters if you want to have a stronger, better future, because the decisions we make in the next 2 to 3 years will determine what Chicago will look like in the next 20 to 30 years. Every study done on cities across the globe, Chicago is in the top 10 worldwide for most competitiveness. And my principal goal, and I want to say it here, and why I'm very proud, we redid our public transportation bids. 30 years ago, a little over 35, the last rail car anywhere in the city of Chicago came off the line and stopped. We sent a rebid out, and one of the priorities was that you had them remanufacture here in the city of Chicago. Company 1, Local 73 will be part of those 200 jobs, building again after 35-year hiatus. New rail cars that people, including the mayor who took his train this morning, that rail car that people in the city of Chicago will ride will be built here in the city of Chicago with Local 73 labor. We changed the way we've ordered police cars. Where are they made? South side of Chicago, the Ford Torrance plant. Because if you make something manufacturing in the city of Chicago, we actually give you points on the bid. A 90-year-old seating company, Friedman Seating, never won a public bid for our seats on our public trains and our public buses. They've added 400 workers on top of the 400 they had because they won. They locally manufacture, they bid for the public work, and they won because we have a new ordinance, 2013. If you make it here locally, you get points on the bid. So from police cars and fire cars to new seating on our public transportation to the new trains on the south side, we are making sure that as we purchase, we create jobs here in the city of Chicago. But I also want to pick up on what President Sellers said. We have a model here in the city of Chicago. 42% of our kids who graduate high school go on to a 4-year institution. The nation's number is 44. So our kids, while it's more demographically diverse than the United States, we now match the United States in going on to a 4-year institution. We're the first city in the United States, if you get a B average in high school, community college is free. And as I like to say to parents, there's not a price lower than free. You can't beat it even when your kids are taking money out of your own wallet. I do not believe that any parent should have to take a second mortgage or a second job to give their child a chance at the American dream. The way you earn that free community college, you get yourself a B. And I don't mean one, a B average. As one young man said to me, I got a B. I said, well, just keep going at it, and if you get all of them, you're on your way. And in the city of Chicago, if you keep that B average in community college, every 4-year institution will offer you a 50% reduction on tuition. The only way to ensure that parents like you, your kids can get to college without putting you in a poorhouse to do it. Third, every branch of the armed service, and the only city in the United States that has this, runs a high school. Every branch, 12,500 kids, junior ROTC, Air Force, Rickover Naval, Marine Math and Science, Army, Bronzeville Army, Phoenix, 12,500 kids, more scholarships coming here to go into our armed services. And then finally, starting next year, Dunbar High School will be the high school of trades, where every building trade is partnered with organizations. It's on the south side. Those from Chicago know it. I want to make sure that the kids of Chicago, you pursue a trade, we have a school for you. You want to go to the armed services? We have a roadmap there for training and jobs in the armed services. You want to go on to community college and healthcare, transportation, distribution, logistics, IT, professional services? We have a model for that. And you want to go on to a four-year institution of college? We also now match the country in that effort. But everybody in the city of Chicago, every youth, when you graduate from high school, you can take a breath, but you are not done. And the way to ensure that the city of Chicago continues to lead the country on economic development and job creation is to make sure we have the best trained, best educated workforce in the United States. Rocco, sheet metal workers have been that partner. The building trades of Chicago have been that partner. And I want you to continue to work with our youth, giving them journeymen and apprenticeships so they have an opportunity to one day sit in your seats. Our measure as adults will be whether we live up to our responsibilities so our kids can live up to their opportunities and their futures and their dream. And I want to ensure in this city, while we now have, for the first time ever, universal full-day kindergarten for every child, we're on our way to universal full-day pre-K for every child, because the K through 12 model no longer works. It's pre-K to college. Everybody has to have a post-high school education model. And we're the only city that now partners with our veterans at our community colleges to make sure that they serve their country if they want to take a trade here in the city of Chicago, whether it's a pipe fitter trade with the utilities or whether it's any other trade. We have a program to make sure that your service to the country is rewarded. So I'm welcoming you to the city of Chicago. I'm not scheduling or booking or making a reservation at a single steak joint in the next 2 days while you're here because I know I can't get a seat while you guys are here. There's sellers, they really got a problem here laughing. You got these guys tamed too hard. I'm really going to save all my material for another group. On a serious note, I thank you for being here. Thank you for what you're holding the conference. More importantly, we do got a big decision this November. Now, one thing I know is politics. Don't anybody assume because we're doing well in the summer, we're doing well in October. We all know the challenges. We know you know your own members and their partners and their spouses. Take nothing for granted. It's a very challenging time to be in politics. As I used to say to President Obama, people hate the status quo, and they're not too excited by change either. So they got us right where they want us. So we have to make sure that Hillary Clinton gets elected. We have a Democratic Senate she can work with and a Democratic House she can work with. So we can continue to have a robust infrastructure bill that puts your members to work. Building our public transportation system, building our schools, building our airports, building our parks, and building our community colleges. If we do that, we're going to build America. Thank you for being here.